Hey friends, today we're talking about hearing God. When we look at the stories in the Bible and those that of the people that we look up to and even strive to have lives like, we recognize their ability to hear and to respond to God. So that's why I want to chat with you real quickly about 3 things that I would quit right now so that you can start hearing God better in your life. One is getting rid of all the noise and all of the other systems around you that seem like they're the right systems to be plugged into. What do I mean by that? Whatever during your day takes you away from a moment when you can step back, take a breath, and fix your eyes on God to ask Him questions would be some of the things. Whether that's music, a podcast, it can even be good things like other pastors' sermons, calling people that you look to all the time for advice, movies, the noise, you know what I'm saying? And also the patterns and the rhythms that keep us comfortable so that we can comfort ourselves versus allowing God to do that. This makes me think of a story in the Old Testament where a prophet named Elijah is entering a town, and there was a very poor woman who had a son, and she was just about to go get some oil to make their last food so that they could eat in peace before they died. But in that process, she looked to Elijah, and Elijah gave her a directive and said, "Hey, if you'll make me some too, you can go collect all the jars that are possible for you to collect from your neighbors and start filling them with oil, and it won't stop." And she went ahead and did that and believed the word of the Lord, and her kid survived, and she survived because the oil from the one jar didn't stop overflowing. How does that relate to us today? When we eliminate the noise, when we eliminate the distraction, and when we eliminate the comfortable systems that we're used to that give us the comfort more than God's word or what He has said to us gives us comfort, it stops us from hearing. The second thing that I would quit, simply to stop believing that you're not hearing God. I know that sounds funny in itself, but it is true. When we believe we're not hearing God, we're actually creating a stumbling block for ourselves. When we're able to recognize, look, since the beginning of time, God's been speaking to people. The very first thing God did in creation was said, "Let there be light." He spoke. In John chapter 1, it says that Jesus became the Word made flesh and dwelt with us. What does that prove? It's God's purpose to come and to speak to us. The majority of the books of the Bible are named after people. And so if we can just step back and think, wait, I'm not going to believe from my own soul or from others that I can't hear God or that I'm not hearing God, and start believing maybe I'm just not, or maybe He's just not speaking what I want Him to hear right now. It changes everything, and it turns our eyes back on the character of God instead of what we want Him to say to us. So the second thing I would do is I'd stop believing that you aren't hearing God, because more than likely, even in His silence, you're hearing Him. He may not be saying what you want, but there are ways to have a conversation with God. There are ways to have a conversation with God that will comfort you even when He doesn't say what you want. The third thing I would stop doing, I would quit doing to hear God better, I would stop coming to God for love instead of from love. It can be easy for us to want to come to God with what we want to talk about and what we need and what we want to hear. But if we'll just come and meet with Him in His presence simply because we want to get to know God, the God of the universe that loved us enough to send His Son to the earth as a man to walk and go through the things we did so that we would be made whole in God again. That God, if we will simply come and sit quiet in His presence and gear our focus, our thoughts, our intentions, our questions on getting to discover His heart and who He is, all of a sudden the conversation begins to open up, because He already knows what you need. He already has the provision for you. He already wants you to become and be complete. He already wants you to be completed in the fullness of the way that He made you to be. The biggest thing this does is it drops the control that we need in our life and puts it back in His hands. And it's a great sign of love to the Father when we do this. And here's a bonus tip. I have found more often than not, when I am willing to do that, when I come into his presence just to discover who he is, most of the things that I need, most of the questions I want answered, get answered anyway. I usually find them in him. And isn't that his promise for us anyway, friends? That we'll find all of those things in him? These are only 3 of about 7 to 10 things that I stopped doing when I really wanted to consistently draw close to God and live a life in the God-given purpose that he'd given me. And that's why I created this YouTube channel, so that people that have that same desire can follow us, learn simple things like that, and apply them. But I've also created some communities for men and women to be able to grow in these areas of hearing God, responding, and fulfilling your God-given purpose. If that's your desire, check the description below. The Crossing Community Voyage is for everyone. Our ship's discipleship is for men. I'd love to welcome you into those communities with other people just like you that want to walk and learn and grow in their faith and in their obedience to God. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of this content. And as always, walk in faith, go in courage.